Hello YouTube! Today on the Naughty Librarian I am doing my April TBR list. So I think this TBR list is the one that I'm feeling the most I'm going to change it about. Like, I compiled a good list. These are all books I kind of want to get to, I want to read, and I picked them for various reasons, but part of me is just like feeling real chaotic, and I feel like I might change my mind. But for right now, this moment, this is what's on deck officially for April. Let's go. Let's start things off with the book of the month for the Blades and Bodice Rippers book club, which is A Heart of Blood and Ashes by Milla Vane. This is a barbarian type romance story, and it's going to be hosted over on Bethany's channel the last Saturday of April. It's gonna be a good time. Okay, so basic gist here is that there's barbarians and rival barbarians, and there's this guy, Maddox, and then this woman, Vane, and Maddox kidnaps Vane because he thinks Vane did some stuff and it got his parents killed, and he's just like, fuck you. And Vane's like, I hear you, I get it, but the thing is, I also have daddy issues. Do you want to get married? So things go from there. That's what I've inferred from the blurb, at least. But it's a good barbarian romance. I'm excited to read it with all the ladies in the group. It's going to be a good time. Who knows how it'll turn out, but it'll turn out. I'm also going to read Hate Crush by Angelina Lopez. Mainly just because I was feeling angsty, you know what I mean? Like, I rarely, if ever, want like an angsty romance. And then I just happened to see this on my shelf, and I was like, that is peak angst. Like, I think I should read this. This is kind of a second chance romance, also a bit of royalty. She is a princess, Princessa Sophia, and then you have a disgraced rock star. I don't really know how to say his name. It's A-I-S-H, so I'm thinking it's Aish. I'll find out. I'll decide later how I feel about pronouncing his name, but he's like a fallen rock star, and apparently they used to date. They met working at a winery, and then like things went bad, and she's like, I don't like you, but I still think you're hot, and they have to fake a relationship, and mainly so her winery will do good, and therefore her country will do well, because that makes sense. And then also he's a rock star. Like, it has so many bizarre things all thrown into the soup of this book that I'm like, I'm interested in your soup. Like, let me see what's going on here, because it shouldn't work, but maybe it does. Speaking of angst, I am also going to read Kingdom of Flesh and Fire by Jennifer L. Armentrout, the first book of this series from Blood and Ash. I mean, it's either people love this book or they don't like this book. I liked it. Like, I didn't think it's Jennifer Armentrout's best work, because I am a stan. I have read everything Jennifer Armentrout's written. But yeah, From Blood and Ash was not solid. It was a flimsy, flamsy fantasy romance. However, I already have book 2, so I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna try it out. Why not? However, the thing is, when I was reading the first book, like, oh boy, did I predict all the twists, like, early on. So I have already predicted twists I think are going to happen, and part of me just wants to know if I'm right. So I'm gonna get into this chonker of a book. Again, another chonker. And so we have Poppy, and we have a Hawk, or Castile, I think they're calling him now. But anyway, so you have Poppy. She is very sheltered. She is born to be the maiden, like this big sacrifice thing. And she's like, hey, I don't want to do that. And so she's off with this guy, and then there's like vampires. Like, it's hard to really explain what's going on here if you haven't read book 1, but this is like, there's some major twists and betrayals at the end of book 1 that this book should be going off of, and like figuring out where to go next. Like, I have an idea where it's gonna go, and I want to see if I'm right, because if I am right, then I can tell the future, and I am very excited for that prospect. Also on deck, I have Engines of Oblivion by Clare and Osborne. This is another book that I need retcon on book 1 for. The previous book in this series is Architects of Memory, which I ended up really liking. I thought it was quite good. It's kind of my favorite sci-fi trope, which is, you know, plucky crew of misfits. And they're also dealing with alien artifacts, which can be a weapon, and they have this whole other like political system where it's not really countries in space anymore, it's corporations in space. And they have their own like capitalism is bad dystopianness going on, and also, you know, crazy alien weapons. So there's a lot going on, and the ending of book 1 like fucked me up. Like, it is an unhappy ending, and I was like, no, you are not gonna do me like that. So yeah, that's the basic gist. There's the alien weapons, they're trying to like stop a big intergalactic war because they don't want that, and there's this one line in this blurb that I feel sums things up, which is, now corporate has big plans for Natalie. Horrible plans. It's a really bad line in the blurb, but like, I'm like, okay, yeah, corporate obviously bad guys, and they have plans for Natalie to do bad things, and she has to decide not to do bad things, and hopefully they will fix the ending of book 1. If they don't, I will be very unhappy. But yes, I did like book 1. I thought it was pretty solid. I do think book 1 was a debut, and this is a sequel book, so I'm excited to see where this author goes. I want to know what's going to happen next. I am also going to be reading Rebelwing by Andrea Tang. So this book had been on my radar for quite a bit, and I just never really like pulled the trigger on it, so I was like, okay, whatever. And then Penguin Teen so kindly sent me a copy, and I read the blurb for real this time. I've only like heard things about it. I hadn't really read the blurb, and the blurb is chef's kiss good. Like, I feel like I wrote the blurb. Like, it's so like snarky that I'm like, oh, okay, like, you've sold me on this. So it's about this young woman named Prue. She is kind of a rebel. She's selling like banned media. And then, wouldn't you know, a big like sentient mechanical dragon shows up one day and saves her. And she's like, well, shit, there's a dragon here. I've got to figure some stuff out. And one of the things is how to ride this dragon, because the dragon really likes Prue. And she's like, why do I have a robot dragon as a friend? Like, I didn't ask for this. Robot dragons, a little bit of dystopia going on here, snarky school kids. Like, there's a lot of things going on in this book that I like. So I'm into this. Like, the blurb has sold me on it. Like, if there's a really solidly written blurb, like, sometimes that's the key to everything. But oh boy, like, dragons and snark, and I'm into it. So yeah, I really want to try this one out. I'm completely sold on it right now. I'm also going to be reading Reaper of Souls by Rena Barron. This is the sequel to Kingdom of Souls, and whew, that one was good. Oh man, like, it's so good. Like, I feel like if you were a fan of Children of Blood and Bone, Kingdom of Souls does that, but better, essentially. It's kind of based around West African mythology and magic systems and all of that cool stuff, because we're following Ara. She is one of the last witch doctors around, except the problem is Ara doesn't got magic, and whoo boy, that causes problems for her. Because in this world, magic will just come to you if it wants to, and the people it doesn't come to, well, there are things you can do to get magic to come to you, like force it, but they have a big cost. Like, if you need to do a big spell, like, you're probably gonna lose some teeth or something. You have to pay something desperately you're gonna miss to gain magic. So there's definitely a cost in this world. Then you have Ara, the last like witch doctor, who has to defeat a demon king, and she's like, I don't got no magic. I'm gonna lose some stuff right now. Like, this is hard choices I have to make. That's kind of all I know going into this one. I know what happened in book 1. This is the sequel, and oh man, Kingdom of Souls, if you haven't read it, like, please try it out. It's really good. The magic system is chef's kiss. It's so good. And like, the characters are really vivid, and I just want to know what's gonna happen, because there were so many open endings in book 1, and I'm like, oh man, they got a whole demon king who's like really likes Ara. Like, it's uncomfortable how much he likes Ara, and she's like, bruh, you were a demon, and he's like, sup. So she's got her own problems to deal with, and I am into it. I love the magic system of this world. I love the characters. I'm so excited to like read the sequel finally. Let's throw some more epic fantasy in here with The Memory of Souls by Jenn Lyons. I have been plugging away through this series. This is the Chorus of Dragons series. This is book 3, and these are chonkers of books. Like, these are chunky fantasies. They have glossaries in the back. They have like an encyclopedia in the back of the book. There's so much world building going on. So if you're a fantasy world building nerd, oh boy, you will just love this series intensely. It is the best. It's some of the best world building, honestly, I've seen. It's kind of hard to describe everything going on because these are chonky books and this is already book 3. But essentially, we're following Kieran and a few other people, and they're trying to stop the Demon King from rising because there's demons on the loose in their world, and they are up to no good. They are killing people, being evil, and they're like, wow, we gotta stop these demons. And like, Kieran's like, I got it. I know this thing. We have this ritual. We could do it. And then the Demon King will go back to sleep, and it's like a great idea. And the thing is, they gotta get the Vane, which is like this magical fae kind of people type thing. And she's like, you gotta do this ritual. And then the Demon King will go to bed. And then, like, the Vane are like, no, 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 that costs, like, dearly. We don't want to do that. And he's like, come on. So it's basically him and his friends in this magical world with lots of different cultures and civilizations and, like, magic systems that are super cool. And they're trying to defeat a bunch of demons. And also there's dragons. There are so many dragons. There's, like, 8 of them. Like, 8 dragons. And they all got personalities, and I like this series so much. It's hard to like say exactly what it's about though, because it has so much going on. It's so like detailed and intricate. The magic system is so well thought out. There's all these different cultures from all these different places, and they all have completely different worldviews. Like, oh boy, like the world building in this, oh, like it's amazing. So yes, I'm gonna keep going. I want more Kieran. He's a plucky hero. I want him in my life, and I want to see what's gonna happen next because oh boy, like shit's about to get real. I am also going to read Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. This is a book like I just kind of got randomly. Like it was like on the periphery of my radar, and then I was like, okay, like tell me what you're about. So this is kind of I guess it's a rom-com, you could say. I don't know, it might be more of a drama, I'm not sure yet. But we're following Grace. She is a buttoned up young woman. She just got a PhD, and she's like, all right, it's time. I'm finally gonna cut loose. She goes to Las Vegas. Whoopsie daisy, wakes up married to this woman she doesn't know. So now she's married, and she's like, well, I guess I'll see if this works. So she goes off with Yuki, her new wife, for the summer to try to get to know her, because I mean, why not? You're already married. And along the way, you know, she's going to grow and like learn about herself as a woman and as a person, and I'm just into it. I'm kind of into the trope of whoopsie daisy, I got married. Why not? I haven't really read enough books like that. I'm kind of into it right now. Another chonky book I'm reading is Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. This is the next book in the Last Hours series, so this is kind of like Edwardian era. There's so many Shadowhunter series that you can read them in publication order if you want, or you can read them in chronological order. So chronologically, this is the second group of books. They just came out of Victorian era. These are kind of like the kids of those guys, and they're going around and they're shadow hunting some stuff. I feel like the Shadowhunter world is pretty established, at least in the booktube community. There's TV shows, there's movies, there's all kinds of stuff. It's pretty established character base. So we're just continuing on with all these groups of stories. You have Lucy, she's trying to like resurrect a ghost. And then you have Cordelia, she's got a magical sword and family problems. And then you have James, and oh boy, he has a demon grandpa who's just up to no good. And oh boy, and there's just star-crossed romance and hunting demons. And also there's a serial killer in the mix. So I'm feeling like they're throwing some Jack the Ripper vibes in. Fingers crossed, because that would be incredible. I don't know why I'm so interested in seeing people get ripped by Jack the Ripper, but like, I think it would work in Shadowhunter land. Like, I'm very into that. Last book I have on deck is The Dating Game by Sara Desai. I mainly picked this book because, like, have you seen a more springy cover in your life? And it's April, it's definitely springtime, and I was like, this has spring vibes, let's do it. So this is a rom-com featuring one of my favorite tropes, which is a marriage of convenience. Want to know why? Because they always fall in love for real, and I love it. We're following Daisy and Liam. Daisy, she's a software engineer. She's doing her own thing. Her parents are like, when are you going to get married? When are you going to get married? Hey, are you getting married yet? They're very picky. And so she's like, this is my fiance, la la la. So she has a fake fiance who happens to be Liam. And this works perfect for Liam because he is about to get an inheritance that is contingent on him being married. So they're like, hey, like this'll work. And then so like, you know, they start going on dates to legitimize their fake relationship. Wouldn't you know, they fall in love for real. And I love stories like this. And it's so springy and fun. So I'm hoping the comedy is there, because if it's not a comedy of errors, then it doesn't always work. But I want comedy, I want misunderstandings and like awkward situations and maybe even smutty delights. Like, I'm into this so far, and it's very springy. It's just like for the season, I felt like it was like vibes, you know what I mean? Okay, so that is my tentative TBR list for April. I have a feeling chaos will ensue and I will change my mind about some of these, but I am actually really excited to read these. I don't know, I'm just feeling wishy-washy at the moment. Who knows what's gonna happen in the future? Let me know in the comments down below. I don't know. What's a book with a cover that's super springy to you? Like, what's like a book that screams spring? Because for me, it was The Dating Plan. What's yours? Let me know in the comments down below. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you want to see more videos, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye!